Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ plus daily news television show broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels.
Analytics company vidIQ has certified the Queer News Tonight YouTube channel as the world's most popular LGBTQ plus streaming news show. Our queer stories have reached over 10 million views.
We are proud that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ brand in Florida.
We thank you for watching and supporting our voice in the LGBTQ community. There is no other news program in the LGBTQ world like Queer News Tonight.
That's right, Greg with 2 G's. It is Wednesday, July 9th, and we are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we'll tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
You're watching Queer News Tonight, the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Welcome to the world's most important LGBTQ evening news show.
Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model as PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ plus community.
Our nonprofit mission is to support the 11 pillars of our LGBTQ community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of lesbian, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, business, and queer culture. Help us support our diverse community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ nonprofit media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network. In 2025, our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ experience, and Queer News Tonight is celebrating our 5th anniversary with more than 10,000 LGBTQ stories. We present Pride Fete in August, and we declare that love is in the air with Pride Fort Lauderdale on Valentine's Day, February 14th. Our magazine, events, television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ and broader community.
In 2025, more than 100 community leaders will sit at this table, and share their voices as our anchors. Today, together, we host this show to support the LGBTQ community. Let's meet this evening's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome back to the table, Miss Bonnie Builder. She is the premier South Florida bodybuilding drag queen and the owner of Bonnie Builder Booty Camp. Bonnie, first of all, welcome back to the table. We're so happy to have you on your beautiful vacation. You look lovely.
Thank you so much. You like this tan?
I love that Roman tan. What were you doing? Where were you at?
Girl, I was under some men's child. I was at the Acropolis under some pillars, child.
Woo! I love it. Well, we are happy to have you back. So, Bonnie, Lavender Moon Rising pop-up at Wilton Collective happens on July 26th. Tell me what's happening out.
Okay, girl. On Saturday, July 26th, the Lavender Moon Rising Pop-Up Cafe will offer Wilton Manors a cozy retreat for connection and self-care. Hosted by Moving Forward Wellness Coaching, this unique event will take place from noon to 5 p.m. at the Wilton Collective. Ooh. Guests will be invited to relax, sip delicious local teas and coffee, enjoy snacks, create or view art, play games, and simply be their beautiful selves in a welcoming and affirming atmosphere. The pop-up is designed to help attendees unwind, recharge, and experience community support for stress management and burnout prevention. Backed by generous local sponsors, the event is free to attend and open to all. Those wishing to volunteer or sponsor can call or text 954-715-1646. Now, baby, I am a huge fan of the Wilton Collective. In fact, I got these earrings from there, so thank you so much. I am, girl, I'm there once a week getting some custom pieces done. They have the quality products. So I'm happy that this is an incredible venue that they're hosting an event like this because, like, I really need to unwind. You know, when you come back from vacation and you need a break from that.
Right?
That-
When you need a vacation from your vacation.
Baby,
Yeah,
2 weeks in Greece, done it to me. So this is the perfect event to go to after that long excursion. So I'm very excited.
100%. Have you ever been on a cruise? Have you ever been on vacation and then you have like withdrawals when you get home because you're still used to that, right? Well, that's when you need some self-care like this. I mean, and let's not talk about how the world is right now, right? So everybody really needs some self-care. Like when everybody is like super stressed out about the things around them, I'm like, okay, did you take 10 minutes for you, right? Go into your car, scream loud, right? Do a little meditation or go to something like this, like Lavender Moon Rising, 5 hours to just be a fun kid adult, right? And like, you know, color, play, meditate, read a book, or buy something at Wilton Collective. You know what I mean? Have some tea, have a cocktail, like do whatever makes your heart smile for a couple of hours. You know what I mean?
Some tea.
And be British.
Pinkies up. That's fantastic. But traveling is horrible these days. And when you have a great vacation, you're gone for 2 weeks, and then the trip home is a nightmare. You come home tired, there's a time change and everything else. So yeah, doing something like this where you can just be relaxed and refreshed and rejuvenated will just bring back your youth.
Which is already there. Anyway, Greg, what you
I was not.
She picked it up with her baggage. Right?
It's actually Glenn with one N, not Greg with two G's, because that would be him.
It's about to be Bonnie with no patience. Greg.
Local teas, snacks, out in games, and it's free. Sign me up.
All right. Well, I can't wait to see you all there. And Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you all at Lavender Moon Rising pop-up at Wilton Collective on July 26th. And that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome back to the table anchor Glen Weinzimer. Hey, by the way, happy birthday, Glen.
Why, thank you. Milestone. It was
yes.
great to celebrate it with you.
Oh, yeah, we were all there at Glen's birthday party. He invited Bonnie and she said no. But it is what it is. So happy birthday to you, Glen. And welcome back to the table, babe. You've been gone too long. So
I have.
You've been?
I've been everywhere. I was on the road for 42 days straight, and I've been seeing more airports and overnight layovers and stuff than I care to share with anybody. But despite that, a little Botox, I'm pulled back together.
You're just a little bit of Botox.
Just a little Botox, just did it.
Well, you know, Glen has been a South Florida advocate for over 30 years. So that's why he needed the Botox, you know, raising awareness and more than $16 million for the HIV/AIDS community for 20 plus years. And he still looks that good. You know what I mean? He's also a travel director and corporate events planner, which is why he was traveling for 42 days straight, right? So Glen, I'm excited about this event. You know, anything to do with bears and bowling. I mean, I'm in, you know. Bowling with the Bears is on July 20th. Tell me what's happening out.
I love this group. I've done so many things with them when we had the restaurant, and Brock Boyd is an amazing human being. So this week, South Florida's favorite bowling bash is back. Bowling with the Bears will take place on Sunday, July 20th from 2 p.m. to 4 at Manor Lane's Bowling and Sports Den Club. Hosted by Bears of South Florida, the event promises fun, food, and friendly competition. Festivities will kick off at 1 p.m. with a cheerful check-in and pre-bowling happy hour at Sports Den Pub. Bowling will begin promptly at 2 p.m. Attendees can expect 2 games, pizza, soda, munchies, sweets, and of course, trophies for the standout Bears and those who love them. Bowling tickets are priced at $38 and include shoes, games, and all the treats. Non-bowling guests can still join for fun for $18, enjoying the snacks and cheering from the sidelines. Organizers plan to sell out the entire alley, booking all lanes with 100 bowling bears. Tickets are available now at TicketTailor.com. It's Taylor with an I, TAILOR.com. I love the Bears. I've done, like I said at the beginning, I've done a ton with them. The amount of philanthropy that they do in our community and partnerships they have with other groups, whether it's the Gay Men's Chorus, you know, they're out there, they're proud, they support our theaters, they do tons of group things. And whether you're a bear or just a bear lover, show up at some of these events. It's a great community social event, and it's non-political, and it's just a nice place to be around happy folks. Yeah, I love them. And
the Bears of South Florida are incredible, and I actually learned about the Bears of South Florida through Glen and Bona with their Give Back Mondays, and that's how I met William Haas, who also sits at this table representing the Bears of South Florida. So thank you for that connection, Glen, from years back. But they do so much, you know, and you know, first of all, bears come in all shapes and sizes. They all don't like honey.
No, hey,
Just want to make
boo-boo.
that clear. You just want to make that clear because I made that mistake, okay?
Hey, boo-boo, what's
Second
in
of
your
all,
picnic basket?
I love the Wilton lanes for doing this, right? Okay, but what I love the most is that they're not doing it at 9:30 in the morning, right? They're doing it at 1 p.m. Bears have to sleep in. Bears have to wake up how they wake up and have their breakfast and then get ready to head on over there by 1 o'clock, you know? That's a party. Sunday afternoon, 1 p.m., you can get me to go bowling for sure. And for $18 as a cheerleader and $40 to play, including pizza and fun and all that kind of stuff. Come on, that's a deal, kid. Like a big deal. And you get to help another organization.
Yes. Don't make jokes about them sticking their fingers in the tight holes. 100 bowling bears.
Wait. You need to unwrap that.
100 I'm telling myself I'm trying to. 100 bowling bears? What will the Bears of South Florida think of next? Gutterball Gregg just might have to participate. Dignity be damned.
Wow. Okay. And nowhere in there did he say that his head looks like a bowling ball. I would have liked that better. Well, you know what? Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you all at Bowling with the Bears on July 20th. It's going to be a blast. And that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome back to the table anchor Gregg Shapiro. And that's Gregg with 3 G's, okay? Because I've been counting wrong all these years. So, you know, he's an inductee into the Chicago LGBT Hall of Fame. Gregg is an entertainment journalist whose celebrity interviews and reviews run in a variety of regional LGBTQ publications and websites. Gregg, with 3 G's, plays of Wilton free dessert party. Wait a minute, what? Ronnie Larson's giving away dessert. All right, okay, that's going to be on July 23rd. Tell me what's happening out.
Plays of Wilton, recently crowned the Best Theater Company 2025 by Miami New Times, will celebrate its big win with a sweet gesture to the community. On Tuesday, July 23rd, the theater group will host a free dessert party at the Manor House in Richardson Historic Park in Wilton Manors. The celebration will take place from 6 to 8 p.m. As a special bonus, attendees will also get to enjoy a performance of Boys in the Band, the company's current production that continues to earn praise. Organizers are planning the event to thank patrons and supporters who help make this recognition possible. Guests can expect a casual, joyful evening surrounded by fellow theater lovers. Details and RSVP information are available on tickettailor.com. I love the way that the Boys in the Band has gotten the respect it deserves as a pre-Stonewall period piece. I always think of it as like a Polaroid snapshot of a group of bitchy but ultimately loving friends. What I really want to know is, will there be cheesecake with graham cracker crust and peanut butter cookies with the little fork imprints? That's all I
You fat bitch. Are they going to have red velvet with some cream cheese on it, either in the Oreo form or the cake form, or a little cupcake? Just a little bit of red velvet. Just so I know that there's some black people in the kitchen.
Yeah, right.
I want to know that if they're serving insulin in a shot or a shot. That's what I want to know.
And on the way out, my wife will be serving Manjaro for all of you. I have gained 5 pounds from going to Ronnie Larson's dessert. All right? Let's do that.
Right, but
listen,
in all seriousness,
please go.
Ronnie has done an amazing job turning Plays of Wilton into a nonprofit, engaging more of the community, raising a lot of money, and having super talented people with a really creative backdrops. And he's really done a great job. And he's funny when he's on the show. I've seen so many shows there. It's never a bad time. The people that attend are a lot of fun. Highly recommend attending this, or just better yet, getting tickets to any one of his upcoming shows.
And he's always working. Like, that man is always working, right? They did the Sound of Music at the Richardson House for free for 8,000 weeks, I remember, and it was all sold out, right? They did Divine, right? They did that play recently. So Ronnie Larson's going to be on the FayWhat show on July 15th, and I'm really looking forward to that because I've looked up to him for the last couple of years, you know? So to be able to have him in my bed with me and ask him all the naughty questions that I've always wanted to ask, I'm there for it.
And he's new in our community. I mean, he's only been here a couple of years. Yes.
Really? So he's accomplished all this in just a couple of years. And he's got a bunch of Carbonell stuff, whatever the hell that means. I mean, he's got
Pasta.
That's
carbonara.
Awards, Carbonell Awards.
I said Carbonell Award.
I
Yeah.
thought you said carbonara.
No.
I'm hungry.
Yeah.
And we look at all those desserts. I mean, my carbs just went right through the roof.
Oh my God. Well, listen, Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you all at the Plays of Wilton Free Dessert Party on July 23rd. Mark your calendars. And that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
And of course, let's welcome tonight's lead anchor, FayWhat. She's a legendary events host, a television and radio personality, and the host of Hotspots Happening Out's The FayWhat Show. Now, Faye, South Florida's largest Roper Romp set for August 2nd. Tell me, what's happening?
What? I know South Florida has been looking forward to this all year round, okay? So South Florida will see its biggest Roper Romp yet on August 2nd, hosted by Tina Jordan Ashley and the South Florida chapter of Mrs. Roper Romp. Yes, that exists. More than 100 ropers are expected to don their iconic caftans and take over Wilton Manors for an unforgettable afternoon of flair, fun, and friendship. The event will kick off at 2 p.m. at the world-famous pub on the Drive, followed by stops at Hunter's and Tap That Ash at 3 p.m., a visit to the Moon between 3 and 4, and at 4 p.m., they're heading on over to The Well. The celebration will wrap up at Lit Bar, featuring prizes, munchies, and surprises for all attendees. Beloved local figures like Alexander Sadehi, I love him, the owner of the pub, George Kessinger, Mark Hunter, the owner of Hunters, and others are set to join. For any queries or further information, you can DM Tina Jordan Ashley directly. You know, so my wife is a huge fan of, what is the damn show?
Three's Company.
Three's Company, right? And that show is like from the 80s, I think, right? And it's about two guys. 70s, one that's acting, that pretends to be gay to live with two other women, because back in the day, you couldn't even live if you were, different, if you were a mixed gender family and all that kind of stuff. So my wife watches that, and one of the characters is Mrs. Roper, right? And Mr. Roper owns the building, and she only dresses in these caftans. And if you don't know what a caftan is, it basically is a large piece of material with a hole in it. Yeah. Okay? And the hole, your head goes in it. All right? That's it. You might be able to don it up, right? A drag queen will do that, or you can just wear how it is. You don't wear nothing underneath. You wear everything underneath. Whatever you want to do. It's a party underneath, if you get my drift, And so for the last couple of years, I've been seeing this Roper Romp, all these people dressed like Mrs. Roper taking over Wilton Drive, right? And we said 100 people. I doubt it's going to be 100. I think it'll be more than 100.
Easily.
People love this, and people do it all over the country. And you're just nodding at me, Glenn, like you have a caftan somewhere and you know what I'm talking about.
I don't, but my mother has a series of them, and when I see them coming at me, I think I'm just going to be criticized for something, because it's being judged all the time by all those rompers. So it's actually a little scary for me. It's sort of like a
trigger.
Like what? It is a trigger, and I'm like, all of a sudden, like the twitch comes back, and you're like, oh my god. So yeah, but it's a lot of fun from afar. I'm kidding. It is a great group of people, and I've got a bunch of friends that participate. But yeah, it does remind me of my mother and all of her Jewish friends. Fortunately, they didn't dress like that when they used to come play mahjong and eat their trail mix or whatever they called it, bridge mix. It was bridge mix
because it was during. Because it was
the
playing
60s.
bridge.
Yeah.
Because
They
they were about to play
We're
bridge.
actually playing mahjong, to the truth be told.
Oh.
And they weren't knitting.
Okay. I was going to ask a question, but I'm not.
He's working through some stuff. He is working through some stuff.
Bonnie Kaftan, would you wear one out?
Of course I would. I ain't got a tuck for it. But I've seen this event random. I actually, when I saw the event happening, I didn't realize it was an event. I just saw a bunch of people wearing caftans. I was like, oh, okay, we're doing that now. And then just red wigs. I'm like, something is happening. Did everyone go to Turkey trying to hide their hairlines? No, it was this event. And I love gay shit like this. Just random gay shit like this. This, not to be political, but this is what keeps Wilton very gay. Just seeing and doing random events like this. Like, this is what keeps it colorful and different and unique. And for us, so get your butchest friend, get your biggest butch male, whatever, put him in a caftan, get him in a hard front orange wig. You can borrow it from Daisy Dead Petals, and just have a great time twirling in a little caftan moment.
Yep.
Caftans forever.
Yeah, girl, let them balls, bro.
Everything. You don't gotta wear a bra. You don't gotta wear nothing.
No bra. Never.
You can, listen to me. Or you can leather it up. You can wear a bustier
Part of
underneath.
the trauma.
It's whatever you want.
Or you can hire me to style you easily. I'll do it
There you go.
for a fee.
There you go.
Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at South Florida's largest Roper Romp on August 2nd. That is a big LGBTQ plus story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ plus stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ plus story. I am FayWhat, and let's queer up South Florida and Florida. SAVE celebrates 32 years of defending LGBTQ rights in South Florida. SAVE LGBTQ has turned 32. And the celebration is more than just candles on a cake. It marks over 3 decades of grassroots advocacy, coalition building, and courageous leadership for queer rights in South Florida. From defeating anti-LGBTQ ordinances in the 1990s to protecting trans youth and voting rights today, SAVE has stood firm in every battle, and none of it would be possible without the support of its community. Today, SAVE is laser focused on building power and protecting lives. They're training the next generation of queer leaders through SAVE Generations, rallying advocates to speak at government meetings with the Advocacy is Pride campaign, and endorsing pro-equality candidates across Miami-Dade and Broward counties. They've even helped stop harmful legislation while writing and passing better laws right here at home. Executive Director Todd Delmay shared, quote, "Thank you for standing with us, not just today, but through every fight and every win. Here's to many more years of building a community where we all belong," end quote. Want to support the cause? You can join SAVE and donate as little as $20, and it would be for an incredible, incredible cause. You know, folks, South Florida wouldn't be the same without SAVE's fierce work. SAVE celebrating 32 years is more than just a milestone. It's a testament to real grassroots power. They fought for queer rights on the local front lines, from defeating anti-LGBTQ ordinances in the 90s, like we said, to what they're doing today. And, you know, probably the most important thing that they're doing under the leadership of Todd Delmay is trying to help and support the future leaders, right? Literally saying, listen, I know it takes money. I know it takes marketing and branding. I know it takes this, and this, and we are here to support you and help you and let you know what that entails. And that right there speaks volumes and exactly what we need moving forward.
32 years is a long time for any organization to remain in existence, especially one as essential as this. So congratulations to everyone involved.
Yeah, that's longer than I've been alive, honestly. So that is truly incredible.
And then lightning hit. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, your grave soon. But yeah, I've seen the SAVE logo at many Pride events, Pride parades, stuff like that. So they've always been very visible in our community, and you know they're doing important work for us. So just thank you for being around, being consistent, growing, fighting, because it can't be easy to be a queer organization like this in South Florida. So you got to be fighting every day of your life, and you made it to 32 years. So we are so proud of you. Happy birthday.
So proud of
Happy
you.
birthday.
And I mean, and Glenn, you know, you were, you got one of their coveted awards a couple of years back from SAVE, and that's no small feat.
No, and Orlando was fantastic. And
Orlando Gonzalez,
yes.
the
He was head at that
the
time.
prior ED.
Yeah, he did an amazing work building up this organization from a tenuous period. And so I do love the fact that we have organizations like Equality Florida, like SAVE, like PRISM, that are helping our youth grow and build. And, you know, PRISM especially is working with youth to get the next generation, because we are in more of a fight for our lives than we've ever been. And this is the perfect time for organizations like this. And I'm glad they're spearheading an effort to get the next group engaged, involved, and showing up.
Yeah.
So yeah, kudos to them for 32 years. And also congratulations to the rest of those organizations.
Yes, and that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now, let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ plus story for today. I'm Bonnie Builder, and let's queer up drag culture. Drag performer detained by ICE after asylum hearing in San Francisco. A beloved San Francisco drag performer and queer immigrant known on stage as Hillary Rivers has been detained by ICE agents after her June 26 asylum hearing. Rivers, originally from Central America, is seeking asylum in the U.S. due to the traumatic and severe persecution she faced in her home country for being gay. Her legal name is being withheld for privacy. After a judge denied the government's motion to dismiss her case, Rivers was arrested outside the courtroom. It's now believed she's being held at the Golden State Annex, an ICE facility near Bakersfield. Her detainment came just 1 day after competing in the 30th annual Miss and Mr. Safe Latino pageant, which promotes health and wellness in the LGBTQ Latino community. Her legal admission into the U.S. came through CBP, a Biden-era program that was recently canceled by the Trump administration. That cancellation also revoked parole status for many migrants like Rivers. According to Millie Atkinson, legal director at the San Francisco Immigrant Legal Defense Collaborative, quote, there's not a more textbook case of what asylum was created for than a case like this. To have them take him away from his community during Pride Week when he's fleeing persecution for his queer identity and when he had just participated in that pageant is just horrific to me. It's just a disgrace, end quote. ICE's tactic of detaining asylum seekers directly after court hearings has been increasingly reported in the Bay Area since May. San Francisco Pride released a statement expressing solidarity with Rivers, condemning what it called attacks on immigrant communities. The organization encouraged the public to write letters of support to Rivers and reminded the nation that San Francisco is the vibrant city we know of today because of the contributions of immigrants, especially queer immigrants. So from one queen to another, baby, we all are standing behind you. We understand that this is completely unfair. This should not have happened to you. And we are standing behind you, and we are going to do whatever we can, baby, to get you and people just like you out of there. You came to the States for freedom to be yourself, for safety, for love and compassion, and you've been treated with the complete opposite. You have contributed to your community. You have tried to become a pillar of your community. Unfortunately, with the situation, this is how it's happening. You are now a pillar of this community because we are all standing behind you. But to go from a pageant where you're standing for the Latino LGBTQ plus for safety and wellness, and then to be treated like this because of who you are is completely unfair. We support you. We love you. We appreciate you. We stand behind you, and we will be there for you.
You know, we're going through a lot of this here in South Florida, which is why I keep on nodding because, like, you know, every time I go see a friend, you know, she's always telling me, yeah, the guy who came in with my dad, you know, went to his second asylum meeting and he never came back. Or we haven't heard from this coworker that went to a meeting and never came back. And people are disappearing off the streets here in South Florida like it's nobody's business. So to hear this about Hillary Rivers and it happening in San Francisco is heartbreaking. You know, she didn't just get here the other day. She's been here 10 years doing drag, right? She's originally from El Salvador and then was raised in Guatemala. And, you know, it just reminds us that visibility means vulnerability. You know, so, I mean, when you see our black and brown drag queens, they're performing, they're putting themselves out there. You know, I mean, she just competed in a pageant, you know, a couple days before, you know, giving to her community to just get picked up, right? I mean, she's at a detention center now in California, but who's to say she won't end up in El Salvador with the rest of those people going through their heartache? Not that people aren't going through their heartache here at Alligator Alcatraz that are being eaten by mosquitoes. You know, but I mean, like, you know, like Bonnie says, my heart breaks for her, breaks for her commitment to our community. She knows what she was going through. She knows what's going on out there. And she still put herself out there and still went to the appointment. Like, what do you do in that? You know, what do you,
there's no way.
There's no way to win.
No, because you have to show up at your hearing.
You don't have to show up. Okay, but then what do? Then you just live in fear, waiting for them to find you?
Coming to your door, right.
Coming to your door or arresting you right after hearing seems almost like illegal, that you should be able to take that opportunity where you know where they're going to be and then take them away. You know, it breaks my heart for not just her, but for all the others that we're not hearing about. When you just mentioned people disappearing off the streets, there are so many people that are missing, but they're not getting recognized because they can't announce everyone. And
they're not processing them.
No, they're not processing them doing anything. And like you said, down here in Alligator Alcatraz, what happens when we have a hurricane? They're intense. I mean, you know, we're just going to have dead bodies everywhere. And these are people that contribute to our community, that have been here most of illegally. You know, they're naturalized citizens. I've got a friend who's moving closer to Canada just because he feels he's Ukrainian. They're going to come after him. So he wants to be within an hour and a half of the Canadian border.
And you know what's the sad part about your Ukrainian friend? They're not going to get to him yet because he's not black or brown. Okay, so he's not going to be stopped. You know what I mean? So it's, so he's an activist, so his name is out there. Again, another person being vulnerable by putting their information out there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, and it's important to reiterate what Bonnie said, that San Francisco is the vibrant city we know today because of the contributions of immigrants, and especially queer immigrants, which is also true of many other cities, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, we were in South Florida, as well as across the country.
Also, let me add this. This is going to be between me and black folk. Black folk, we have a tendency to say, this doesn't involve us, so let's not get involved. We are a compassionate people. Black people. We've been through so much, so we can empathize when others are going through hardship. So we always have needed to care because we are caring people. But just because you don't think you look Hispanic that they're going to target you, that's not the case. They're going for any sort of immigrant or immigrant looking person. So the Haitian community, those who are over here, they are also being targeted. So yo black ass that's walking through these Miami streets thinking you safe because you don't look Hispanic. No, they're coming for you too. So we need to care. We need to care for our Hispanic community, our Latino community. We also need to care for us. We need to care for everybody. But no more of this conversation of it doesn't involve us, so let's not get involved. We all need to be involved for a better country. This involves all of us. Okay?
You heard her.
Yep.
And that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into the big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Glen Weinzimer, and let's queer up gay culture. So Harvey Milk Ship was really only about gay Harvey Milk? At the start of Pride Month, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth announced the renaming of the U.S. Navy ship Harvey Milk, marking the end of a short-lived plan to remove all civil rights leaders' names from Navy ships. But as June closes, it's now clear only the gay rights pioneer, Harvey Milk's name, is being removed. Recently, Hegseth confirmed the ship will now be called the U.S. Navy ship Oscar V. Peterson, honoring a decorated World War II Navy hero. His Twitter post said, quote, "We are taking the politics out of ship naming," end quote. While the Defense Department claimed it would rename ships named for other civil rights icons like John Lewis, Sojourner Truth, and Cesar Chavez, a Pentagon spokesperson has since admitted there are no plans to rename any other ships. Only Milk's name is being stripped away. An anonymous defense official told Task and Purpose, quote, "There are currently no plans to rename other ships in this class," end quote. During a Senate hearing last month, Hegseth declared, quote, "We're not interested in naming ships after activists," end quote. But Milk was more than that. He served in the Navy during the Korean War before being pushed out for being gay. Milk went on to become one of the first openly gay elected officials in the U.S. before his assassination in 1978. President Obama posthumously awarded him the Medal of Freedom in 2009. The group Vote Vets slammed the decision, saying, quote, "To erase his name now, during Pride Month, is no innocent, bureaucratic decision. It's part of Hegseth's broader campaign to purge the military of anyone who doesn't fit his narrow, outdated vision," end quote. For many queer Americans, this doesn't feel like politics being removed from ship naming. It feels like erasure. And this is another one of those huge stories where it's being targeted at a specific group. It's being named after Oscar Peterson. Probably well-deserved, probably does deserve his name on a ship, but not at the cost of taking away someone else's name who is just as qualified, who also had a public appearance, or a public place, and was also a politician. He was an activist. He served our country. And so there's no reason other than the fact that he's gay to remove his name.
Yeah.
And, it's just another one of the issues that we're having right now with the Trump administration going after and targeting groups, whether exporting them, taking away their citizenship, and then just the erasure is probably the best word. Just if you erase it from history, it never existed. If you remove the names from books, it never happened.
Never existed.
Right.
You boys is too, I know the movie is too old for Miss Bonnie, but Back to the Future, right?
Yes.
When McFly was disappearing, right?
Right.
From the picture. That's what I feel like,
Yeah.
right? Every time they're trying to erase us, this is what this is. It's just erasing us point by point by point, okay? Harvey Milk, he served. He literally served in the U.S. Navy. He served, okay?
Korean War.
He sacrificed.
Yeah.
He sacrificed more than most. He sacrificed his own life for this country and for us. This is just targeted. This is mean. This is horrible. It's just, if you don't feel targeted, there's something wrong with you because this is completely towards us.
Right.
This is a truly deplorable act, and Pete Hegseth took such pleasure making the announcement. And by the way, the only thing that will likely ever be named for Hegseth is a glory hole in a Pentagon bathroom stall.
Wow. Wow.
I took pleasure in saying that.
You
I
did,
bet
didn't
you
you?
did. It sounded like
I
it.
really want to use that stall though now. Because, oh man. Well, that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now, let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Gregg Shapiro, and let's queer up the worldview. More than 100 trans prisoners presumed dead or missing after Israeli strike on Iran's Evin prison. More than 100 trans prisoners are missing and presumed dead following a deadly airstrike on Iran's notorious Evin prison in Tehran. The attack, carried out by Israeli forces during the 12-day war with Iran, took place on June 23rd, just one day before a ceasefire was announced. Evin prison, opened in 1972, has long been associated with severe human rights abuses, including torture, sexual violence, and prolonged solitary confinement. It houses political prisoners, journalists, and academics, including past detainees such as Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe and Nobel Peace Prize winner Narges Mohammadi. According to Iranian judiciary spokesperson Asghar Jahangir, 71 people were confirmed dead, including guards, staff, visiting relatives, prisoners, and civilians living nearby. Toll may be far higher. Prominent human rights lawyer Reza Shafaka told the New York Times that around 100 trans inmates are missing, with their section of the prison completely destroyed. Authorities say they are presumed dead. She added, quote, "The Iranian government often treats being trans as a crime," end quote. Although gender transition is legal in Iran, trans people face systemic discrimination and abuse. In 2019, Peacemark magazine quoted one trans inmate, quote, "When you go to the transgender ward, you can't even see the sunlight. Except for 2 times, I haven't seen the sunlight," end quote. This is yet another tragic reminder of the peril facing LGBTQ lives globally. I have to say, it's really difficult to find the right words to even respond to such a horrific and an unforgivable tragedy. I mean, it's not just the combination of the treatment that these prisoners went through, but the fact that whether it was targeted or not, that section of the prison was destroyed is just, yeah, it's too much.
Yeah, and it feels like the world barely blinked about it.
Yeah.
You know, we're telling this story because we're Queer News Tonight, and we have to tell these stories, right? But you're not going to find this story on regular media. You know, what breaks my heart. I mean, the whole story is crappy, but a lot of the, you know, when in Iran, for a lot of people, it's against the law. It's, you know, they take it as a crime for you to be trans, right? Which is a little confusing to our viewers, right? Because they allow you to get a gender transition, you know, but being trans is illegal. So a lot of these people that were in this trans wing did no other crime but be who they were.
Right.
You know, that's the heartbreaking part of it. You know, this is a jail. This is a prison where people have killed, murdered, raped, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But those 100 lives, we don't know if they did anything else, but we're going to say that they were in there for being trans. And now they're missing. And now they're presumed gone. You know, it's sadness.
Yeah. And you know, Greg and I both being Jewish, like this attack, it's so hard because some people will say, well, you're Jewish and, you know, Israel, blah, blah, blah. This is horrific, regardless of your religion, regardless of your color, your race. This is a horrific act against killing innocent people. And when I say innocent, they did nothing to deserve that attack. Yes, some of them may be horrific people that have done terrible things to other people, but there are also activists that are in there that have done nothing but speak up. There's transgenders living their true lives. There's a lot more people in a political prison in Iran that did nothing, and then they're the ones that are taken out. Those are the people you should be protecting, because those are the ones that can, if things change, will help make that change, help move the world forward, help people progress and have more equality and live a stronger, better life. So this attack and so many of the others have done for me, and this is a big statement, is that this is no better than what Hitler did. You know, you're wiping out innocent people for no reason. What happened in Gaza? I mean, I know it expands past Iran, but that's not right. Killing off Palestinians in mass. You know, there's no justification for that in my mind.
Can I tell you how proud I am of you to just be able to speak your truth here at Queer News Tonight, where unfortunately many Jews don't feel that safe space or that they can say something like that without being called an anti-Semite or something like that just for speaking the truth. You know, people shouldn't die. That's basically what you're saying. You know what I mean?
You know, having Israel as a state, I think, is important. So I support the state, but not the government. I don't support Netanyahu. I don't support these attacks on that are happening to innocent people. You know, none of this war that's happening is necessary. For me, it's more of an ego thing for him. He's very much like Trump in that it's all about him and staying in power. You know, that they were protesting for 2 years every day, his administration. And then when he did the first attack, you know, after they were attacked at the nightclub, thank you. Yeah. You know, yes, they needed to strike back and make a point, but they've gone way beyond that. They've gone way beyond you hurt us. But yeah, destroying. So, but thank you for saying that, Faye.
No, please, of course. This is the big, that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight. Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm FayWhat, and let's queer up entertainment. Eddie Murphy and Mel B's child, Angel Brown, comes out as transgender. In a heartfelt and quiet affirmation of identity, Angel Brown, the child of Hollywood icon Eddie Murphy and Spice Girls star Mel B, has come out as a transgender man. We also saw Mel B on America's Got Talent. Angel, who turned 18 in April, now uses him pronouns, as shared on his Instagram bio. The news, first reported by the Daily Mail, confirms that both parents have offered their full support. A source close to the family said, quote, "It's a decision Angel made, and Mel has been understanding. Likewise, Eddie. There was no big event to market. Angel just wanted it to be known what pronouns are now suitable," end quote. Angel was born in 2007 following a brief romance between Murphy and Mel B in 2006. Though their relationship ended before Angel's birth, both parents have since remained involved in his life. To celebrate Angel's milestone 18th birthday, Mel B posted a touching tribute on Instagram saying, quote, "Happy birthday to my Angel. I cannot believe you're 18. You're so special and so bright and so talented. I couldn't be prouder of watching you grow and become the person you are. But you'll forever be my baby. I hope you keep chasing your dreams and be kind to everyone around you like you always have been, my Angel. Love you always," end quote. Angel's coming out places him among a growing number of celebrity children embracing their trans identities, including Erin De Niro, daughter of actor Robert De Niro, who recently confirmed her transition as well. For many in the LGBTQ plus community, especially trans youth and their families, Angel's story adds to a growing wave of representation in Hollywood, one where trans identities are affirmed with love, support, and authenticity. Mel B isn't that scary. Was she Scary Spice?
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, she was. Okay, she ain't that scary. And she was always my favorite, though. By the way, you know what I mean. But I mean, and you know, this may sound a bit infantile, but I get so happy when celebrities have one of us as kids.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's the platform.
It's exposure. What it is.
Yeah.
They have a larger platform.
And I'm not, you know,
okay.
I'm not wishing, you know, I'm not wishing for the kid to have a rough childhood and have a strained relationship with their parents. None of that. I don't hope that, right? But the platform, the celebrity, the educational basis that you're able to just, you know, give out like a big net to the world is just like uncanny. And you can't pay for that kind of representation, you know, so.
But there was something poetic, almost poetic, about Eddie Murphy, who notoriously included toxic, homophobic material in his shows, his stand-up shows during the 1980s, and years later gave kind of a half-assed apology. It's interesting how things came around, and now he's the father of a transgender child. But he also, you notice all that was from Mel B. We haven't really heard from Eddie yet.
Yeah.
So I think we should wait for that. But I hope that he will take this opportunity, Eddie, to reach out to others who are as ignorant as he was and maybe educate them.
I wanted to say, I mean, Greg, you know everything, okay? You know a million pieces of information for useless reasons.
I think I
right?
know where you're going.
Didn't he have some kind
got
of
arrested.
drama back in the day
got
where
arrested.
he picked up someone who was
He
trans?
picked up a trans prostitute.
Okay, so then the full circle moments are
So he has
harmful.
always supported the trans community. In that instance, financially, he has always stood behind trans
Very
women, or
good.
maybe she stood behind him. I don't know how it worked out, but he has always supported the trans community one way or another. So this is just another case for it.
On a serious note, going back to what you said, Faye,
Sure.
having people in entertainment stand up and stand up when they have children that are trans or queer or anything that's not considered normal by our current standards is they have a bigger platform and they're icons to so many people that when an Eddie Murphy, let's assume he does the right thing, stands up, there are people that have followed him and followed his negative and supported that are now seeing him change his mind, that maybe those people now will have an opportunity to look at things differently, because if Eddie Murphy says it's okay, then maybe it's okay. The rest of us, our parents don't stand a chance of like having that kind of platform,
No.
but these icons do,
It's
people
true.
watch them every week and every movie, and yeah.
It's true. I mean, we can think back to, even Cher, right? Cher and
Yeah,
Chad.
right.
Everybody made all the fun of it that they
Right.
did.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, it was Cher and her platform,
It
right?
took her a while,
know?
though. It did take her a little while.
Yes, it took.
Chaz.
Yeah, it did take. It took her the longest,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But
Yeah.
since then, I'm thinking about, we're here in Miami and Fort Lauderdale. Dwayne Wade was one of the biggest basketball players in life for the Heat.
Right.
And when his child came out as trans, he decided to move. He was like,
Gabrielle Union,
yes,
right?
Gabrielle
Yep.
Union. Him and his wife were like,
Yeah.
peace out, South
Yeah.
Florida. You guys
Right.
are not affirming to
That's
my
right.
kid. I'm out.
Boom.
But again, people looked up to him as an icon basketball player that he is. Marlon Wayne's kid also
Right.
came out.
Right.
Marlon Wayans also had some kind of stuff in his comedy that wasn't all nice and pretty for everything. And he's had to stand up and say, "I'm learning as I'm going."
Yeah.
Yes, he
Right,
has.
but
And
I'm supporting my kid.
Mhm.
And
you know?
it gives people reason for pause.
Yes.
This
Yeah.
has been, it's locked in, it's in cement, but they're now taking the opportunity to stand back and take a pause and reevaluate where they may not have given it any thought other than to them it was wrong.
100%. Bobby D, Robert De Niro. I mean, come on, the biggest mafia guy in earth. If you're a mafia movie like me, he's in all of them. You know what I mean? So for this guy to come up with the big cojones and go, what you gonna say about
Amazing.
trans? My daughter's trans. And
Amazing.
what?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, who's gonna answer back to that? I love this story. And that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight. As a nonprofit LGBTQ media organization, we would like to thank our viewers for supporting our mission to tell the stories of the queer community. We'd also like to thank the generous support of Jets Pizza. Jets is the LGBTQ community's most popular pizza in South Florida.
Take a look around these streets. Do you really think we woke up one day and said, yeah, the world needs more pizza? Nah, just a better one. Better, like the world's best pizza. Jet's Detroit-style pizza. Hand-pressed and baked to the thickest, crispiest crunch. You're welcome. Now visit jetspizza.com and save. Click on hot deals for special offers in your area. Jets, better because it has to be.
Those are today's headlines from Queer News Tonight. These anchors represent the best of our LGBTQ family.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines.
We need your support. If our community is to grow and then thrive, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world. This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your lead anchor at Queer News Tonight, FayWhat! And on behalf of these LGBTQ reporters, the incredible anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Bonnie Builder, Glen Weinzimer, and Gregg Shapiro. We will see you daily at 8 p.m. to our LGBTQ plus world. We hope that you would join us by embracing love, generosity, bravery, by being transformative, and of course, being queer. Good night.